Coworker today said that I look like a minion. What's good, y'all? It's Steve from Minds in the Gutters Comics here with a special guest, Joe from Nerd Alerts.
What's going on?
What's going on, man? Cheers.
Cheers.
First of all.
Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me, man.
Of course, yeah.
Appreciate
Thanks for
it.
coming. Where do you feel like we first met?
I think it was actually WarriorCon.
Okay, and you bought.
Yes, I'm happy to remember this.
All right. You bought a Nightwing variant
Yes.
cover.
I wish I brought it with me.
I'll pop it up because I think I took a photo of
Yeah.
you. I remember when we were deciding what to sell, I was on the fence with that one, but I was like, I want to see if somebody will buy it.
You're like, it's kind of random.
And God bless it, you bought it.
That's awesome.
It's not a crazy issue by any means.
No.
But the cover makes me laugh.
The cover is incredible.
hard.
And what was great too is because when I found it, I specifically told you too that I was excited about it because I was collecting the Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo run.
That's right.
Like the full run.
Yeah.
And honestly, and we'll get into it a little more in terms of how new I am to comics, but that was literally the first run where I decided I was like, I want to have this all in single issues. But literally that was the last one I needed.
That's great.
And so when I dug that up, I was like,
I love that.
this is awesome.
Yeah. We had talked a lot at BelaCon 5.
Shout out to Bela.
Shout out to Bela. We were talking about your story behind Nerd Alerts.
Yeah.
And I found it so fascinating, so I wanted to talk about that again.
For sure.
Not in a con setting, but sitting down having drinks. Give us the breakdown. Give everybody the breakdown.
So basically, I didn't get into comics until about 2-ish years ago.
Okay.
It was fall of 2024.
Okay.
I moved to the Logan Square, Bucktown area in summer of 2024. And I moved down the street from Challenger's Comics shop.
Shout out Challengers.
Shout out to Challengers, my LCS. But at the time, I didn't know anything at all about comics. But a couple months after I moved to that new spot, there was a Batman Day celebration that was happening at Challengers Comics.
And they got that, they had that mannequin.
Yes. Yeah. So that was out on the street and they had all these posters. It was it's Batman Day. Again, I had never read a comic up to that point, but I knew that I liked Batman. I was into superheroes. I had watched Batman animated series. I watched X-Men animated series. I knew superheroes, but I never knew the lore. I never read a comic before.
Not even when you were a kid?
No.
Yeah.
I was into Power Rangers. I was into Pokemon.
Yeah.
I just was never exposed to comic books, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Until I was in my 30s, which is basically what happened.
I love it.
So I just moseyed over to the shop and just popped in and was just what is this all about? And they handed out some free comics. Actually, no, I brought what I ended up buying that day.
I love that.
Which is awesome. So first of all, this was the free comic.
This was at Challengers.
This was at Challengers. They were handing out for free on Batman Day. So it's a special edition, long Halloween, the first issue.
Yep. That's cool. Okay, so this is an artifact. This is
an artifact.
Okay.
This is the first single issue that I had.
Yeah.
I'm at the shop, just looking around, and I didn't know what a facsimile was. I didn't know what was backish. I didn't know anything. So I just grabbed a couple things off the rack, and I ended up buying them.
Yeah.
It's a good indicator of I didn't know what was what because I was just buying facsimiles. But this is also a good indicator of what I'm interested in, right? So I found a Batman comic. Year one, I found a Spider-Man comic because I know that I like Spider-Man, and then I grabbed a Wolverine comic. After I read Long Halloween and then the first issue of Batman Year One, I was well, I got to read the full story. So what I kind of did was go on Reddit basically, and I just started scouring the Reddit boards to see what are the essential Batman stories to read.
Yeah.
I went on Amazon and bought the trades. I wish I went back to the comic shop and bought it, or back to a comic shop and bought it. But I went on Amazon, bought the trades, and then it started kind of snowballing where I was just I read it, I enjoyed it, and I was let me see what other Batman stories people say I should read. Let me get into some Superman comics. Let me see what Spider-Man comics people say are good. I was still initially doing trade paperbacks because I was I want to read the full story, I want to do it collected. I didn't really know what the deal was with single issues as much, but then when Batman Hush 2 came out, I was let me pick that up. I was I'm interested.
As a single issue.
As a single issue. And that was the start of me picking up single issues. It's been April of last year.
Okay.
And then I learned what a pull list was, and then I started that at Challengers, and then before I knew it, every Wednesday I was going in and I was adding more stuff to my list, and then the stack started getting higher and higher and higher.
You are describing every comic book nerd's process.
Yeah.
But what I love about your story is that like you're proving that no matter when you get started in comics, it's never too late.
Never too late.
When did you start Nerd Alerts?
It was June of last year because I just recently posted about like a 1 year
Oh,
thing.
that's right. That's right.
I basically just like wanted to start an Instagram account to like document this journey. It wasn't fully focused to be comic book specific.
I see.
I've always been into like pop culture.
Yeah.
Like in college, I was very much diehard into movies. I was like a cinema studies minor. I was watching a bunch of movies like every day, every week. I like started a blog called Hermit the Blog.
Okay.
And all I did was like post about what are the new movies. I was doing movie reviews.
Yeah.
I was doing top 10 lists. It was kind of more of like a college thing. The Nerd Alerts idea was to have an outlet for me to like kind of bring back Hermit the Blog in a new way of just like, this is all Instagram. This is stuff I'm into now. And it was like intended to be everything, like an umbrella of music, movies, television, and then also this new journey of comic books as like another element of it. But as you probably have seen now, it's fully taken over. I'll every once in a while still talk about some TV shows, but obviously it's like through a comic lens now. When it first started too, and this is interesting because I'm doing this right now, but I just like wasn't the most comfortable being on like camera. I don't even like being in like photos.
And look at you now.
Here I am now. I love to take pictures to capture the memory, obviously, but if someone's trying to take a solo picture of me, if I'm like trying to take a headshot for work or something, I'm like, I feel so uncomfortable. It just doesn't feel natural. If you look at my earliest posts of Nerd Alerts, it's very much photos. It's very much like just a picture of a comic and then like more written with my opinions, because again, I was blogging before, so I was very much like
Behind
writing, less about on like off the cuff speaking to things. It was just like, let me think about this, let me write it, let me edit it a little bit. It wasn't until like earlier this year, I went to C2E2 and I actually ended up meeting a couple like comic content creators that I follow on like YouTube and Instagram. Shout out to Speed Sultan, Cosmic Collector. And I like saw them in person and I just like was chopping up with them. I was like, hey, I'm a fan of the channel or whatever. They asked me to be on like whether it's like a quick interview or like I was like gifting him a comment and he was like, can I do this for the vlog? And so I was like on the camera. I was like, this isn't too bad. I'm like, it's cool because I was like, it's like this. I'm like, the camera's on, but I'm just like chatting with a friend and that. So I think that like helped me realize I'm like, this isn't too crazy. Like, I feel like I can be in front of camera and it'll be fine. Like literally that week or after that, I started doing my content, but I was like, let me just be in front of the camera this time. Let's see how it goes. It was a little awkward at first because I'm just like in a room by myself talking to a phone. It didn't feel very natural and I had to, stop and like gather my thoughts and edit, stop and pause. And I think the more that I was doing it, the more I was like, this is not that crazy.
I would not be able to tell that you were ever uncomfortable with it because I
appreciate that.
All the videos you do, you just seem so relaxed with just being like connecting with your audience and being like, this is what I got to show you. Like it or don't.
That's good. No, that's good to know.
Yeah. What is it about comic books that has like taken the lead?
It's like crazy that I didn't even see this earlier in my 30 years of life, but a lot of my favorite movies are obviously like adaptations, right?
Yeah.
So it's like when I started getting into like the Marvel movies and Batman and stuff, it's like there's source material. That's what's interesting to me, is like learning the source material for how to adapt it. And even like when you're reading a really good comic book, you're like, oh, I can see this becoming a movie.
Right.
Because like how visual it is.
Should become a movie.
Yeah. That shows how good a comic is when you're like, I want to see this. I want to see more of this. I want to see it adapted in other ways. I want to see other people's takes on it. If the source material is good, then it's gonna branch out into other stuff too, and other mediums as well.
Anything else you want the people to know in terms of like where Nerd Alerts is going?
Now that there's more engagement and like a face to the name, what's been really cool for me is that like when I was first starting to get into this hobby, I didn't have a lot of friends who were into comics.
Yeah.
I was very like riding solo when it comes to like going to cons, going to comic shops. And I found that I was like so invested in like just finding what I was looking for that I was just like locking in and just like going to the shop, digging through stuff, not interacting with everyone. Yeah. What's really changed recently is how much that's changed and how now I'm like making friends with you. I've gone to BelaCon, I'm friends with Bela. It's unlocked a whole other like almost like circle of friends for me, which is awesome. And that is really truly like the best part of it is like now I don't feel like I'm just like in this hobby by myself. And when I went to Heroes Con, I was even like running into some people that like follow me on Instagram that were also there and were like, hey, let's meet up. And so like there's a whole other element where I'm like, I'm in Charlotte, but I'm like hanging out with comic book people that
we're everywhere.
Shout
out to Joe from Nerd Alerts. Go follow him, check him out. Quality content. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming, man.
Of course.
Thanks for telling your story.